The assignment that I'm going to have you work on now is the reflective editorial. The example that I have in your Five for Writing booklet for enrichment is one piece called To Be or Not to Be. That is the question. It's a reflective editorial about being for or against COVID-19 vaccination by Dr. Stephen Ronzano. I wrote this on April 8th, 2021. The nightmare of COVID-19 began somewhere in Wuhan, China, even before I set foot on board my United flight on December 24th, 2019, from Fresno Air Terminal. From there, I flew to San Francisco and boarded my China Eastern Airlines flight with a business class ticket, which took me through Shanghai, Nanning, and on to Phnom Penh. I arrived in Phnom Penh on December 26, 2019, having spent Christmas Day somewhere in the air over southern China. On January 6, 2020, I started a new job as a secondary principal at a large international school in Tultampong, Phnom Penh. By this time, the virus was already waging war in Wuhan and working its way out of China towards the rest of the world. Over the next 2 months, I would watch from the outside with BBC, Skynet, ABC Australia, and CNA News about the virus and how it was spreading. Italy and Spain, for whatever reason, seemed to be the worst countries affected first outside of China. On Friday, March 13th, 2020, was our last day of what we had come to know as face-to-face instruction. The war had begun in Southeast Asia. We all quickly became aware of news from friends working in schools in Vietnam, Thailand, and Myanmar that had closed. Then all schools in Cambodia were given orders to close over the Friday the 13th weekend because of the edict issued from the Ministry of Education, Youth, and Sports. Fears, speculations, and plans to fight this virus from land and sea from each country had begun. In our darkest hour, to steal a little of Winston Churchill's thunder, we have had to overcome great odds to emerge stronger, a little wary, but confident that we can continue our battle with COVID-19 shutdowns and emerge as victors. Our biggest hurdle was to convince all stakeholders that the quality of educating children would not suffer, but become more creative and productive as we continued our fight. In the words of Winston Churchill, we have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many, many long months of struggle and of suffering. You ask, what is our policy? I will say, it is to wage war by sea, land, and air, with all our might, with all our strength that God can give us. To wage war against a monstrous tyranny never surpassed in the dark, lamentable catalog of human crime. That is our policy. You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word. It is victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory, however long and hard the road may be. Then, finally, we must all face the inevitable battle waging in our hearts and minds. Vaccinations. Do we trust, believe, or allow ourselves to feel the prick of the needle? To be or not to be? That is the question.